Alright, I'm not going to waste any of your time. If you struggle with low iman, you're probably doing one of these three bad habits, which unfortunately are so ingrained in today's society. If you look around, you'll probably see all of your friends, every young Muslim doing these habits, and you probably struggle with them too. So I'm going to show you these habits and tell you how to actually break them. The first important habit, and honestly I struggle with this one a lot, and maybe you do too, is delaying salah. And even if you pray salah and you're consistent on it, you might still be suffering from low iman from it just because you delay it too much. With me personally, I find certain prayers easy to, not delay. For example, Zuhur and Isha. Well, Isha, I pray before I sleep, and that's actually the sunnah. Well, Zuhur as well, right? It's easy. You're probably not going to miss it, and you're probably not going to delay it either. But for other prayers, such as Maghrib and Asr, I actually have a really bad habit of delaying these. But for these two specific prayers especially, it's very important that you don't delay. In fact, for the other prayers, it doesn't matter as much, but especially for Asr and Maghrib, these two prayers, you want to be praying on time as soon as, it turns that time to pray. Now, delaying salah is a guaranteed way to lower your iman, and maybe you might be struggling with it. So, how do you actually fix it? Well, there's two main things I could tell you. One is to learn more about it. So learn more about the benefits of praying salah and praying salah on time, which is just about gaining knowledge in general. And the second thing is to actually make that environment and make that time around whatever prayer it is a lot more available. So with the first one, it's as simple as gaining knowledge. Now, I tell this to a lot of people, but you should do things like reading hadiths daily and reading Quran verses with tafsir. Basically, a very important habit to improve your iman and to basically develop yourself as a Muslim holistically is to gain knowledge. If you gain knowledge about salah, the benefits of salah, and the benefits of praying specifically on time, then you'll actually be more likely to pray on time because you learn more about the incentives of praying on time. Just think about it like this. If you got the knowledge of what heaven and hell look like and what judgment day look like right now, you got that knowledge specifically, then you'd probably not miss a single other prayer and you'd pray it right now. But after that, one of the main reasons that we might delay prayers is because we're doing something in that time where we're supposed to be praying. Maybe it's Asr time and you're eating lunch, or maybe you're doing whatever else. Maybe you're in the middle of a workout, or whatever else you're doing. Now, the way I would recommend preventing this is to build a schedule around the prayers instead of building your prayers around your schedule. So you need to have more routine in your life. Schedule your things like maybe when you eat lunch or maybe when you exercise at different points in the day so that you have a good amount of time to actually pray and also to get ready for the prayer. So basically, make sure you're not doing anything 10 minutes before the prayer, and that's enough time to prepare yourself and make sure you're not missing that prayer or having to delay it. Now, the second habit, in my opinion, is the worst one because it's the most prevalent, and honestly, everyone suffers from it, including myself. And it's, of course, social media addiction and video game addiction and pretty much all of that stuff. You may have heard other people talking about this. Maybe you heard sheikhs talking about this or people on YouTube talking about it. But without a doubt, video games and using too much social media is going to destroy your iman. And the reason why is a very important thing you need to understand about iman itself. Basically, the way your heart works is if you fill it up with good things, maybe the remembrance of Allah and good deeds, then you're actually going to want to do more good deeds. And you're not going to be focused on whatever else it is. If you don't play video games, you're not going to care about video games and you're not going to be thinking about it 24/7. But instead, if you fill your heart up with social media, with caring about what other people think, celebrities, and especially if you fill it up with video games, that's what's going to be on your mind and that's what you're going to be thinking about. And consequently, you're going to be desiring those things. You're going to want to play video games all day. You're going to want to go on social media all day. And you're also not going to have motivation to do work or to do good deeds. And that basically means you have low iman. So what I'm saying is, even though technically social media is halal, right? As long as you're using it permissibly, and video games as well, they're halal, right? They're not necessarily haram. They could actually lead to more damage than sinful things, just because of the damage they have on your iman. Lower iman can be, in certain cases, worse than doing sins directly. Unfortunately, this is one of the hardest habits to quit, ever. And what I would recommend you to do is lower your baseline level of stimulus. Now, what that means is basically some people have a certain level of stimulus. So, for example, me and you, we probably have high baseline level of stimulus because we're so, overstimulated in the modern day. So what that means is we're not going to be stimulated by doing boring things, or quote-unquote boring things. Things like work, things like maybe exercising, whereas maybe billionaires or successful people or people of knowledge, they will actually have motivation to do the work or do whatever work they have. And the reason why is because they're not overstimulated. If you're not attached to video games because you've never played, then you're not going to have the desire to play video games. And that's how everything works. And the same works with work, right? If all you do is work and you have nothing to do but work, then you're going to find work fun. So this is something that you really need to cut out of your life. Now, the last habit is music. And you might find this controversial, but in my opinion, it might be the most dangerous. It's for a very similar reason as the other one. Music kind of infects your brain and makes you think in different ways. I mean, if you think about it, lyrics go into your brain and program you to think in a certain way. And most of the time, it's not going to be good stuff. Your favorite rap songs or, artists, they're not programming you with good things. They're talking to you about haram things 99% of the time. Imagine someone in your ear constantly talking about these things for, 4 hours a day. Imagine what that's going to have on your brain. You're going to be constantly designing more music, and consequently, it's going to lead to you designing haram things. So that's all I have to say.